Let's stop pretending. For centuries, slavery wasn't just tolerated by religion. It was used to justify it. For Christianity, it all began in 1452, when Pope Nicholas V issued the Dum Diversas. It granted the Portuguese crown permission to conquer and subdue Saracens, pagans, and other enemies of Christ, and to reduce them to perpetual servitude. This wasn't a whisper. It was official papal authority. A few years later, another decree was issued by Romanus Pontifex, reinforcing this authority. These documents gave Christian religious leaders legitimacy to expansion and to enslavement, blessing conquest, trade, and domination along African coasts. Faith and empire became intertwined. Across Europe and later in the Americas, some Christian leaders defended slavery using scripture. In the American South, pro-slavery pastors quoted scripture every Sunday. "Slaves, obey your masters." That verse echoed through churches while plantations thrived outside. Some theologians promoted the curse of Ham theory, twisting a biblical story to claim Africans were divinely marked for bondage. Even more disturbing, publishers printed a slave Bible that removed passages about freedom and Exodus. So enslaved people wouldn't read about liberation. Church sermons were preached beside plantations. Slave ships were blessed before departure. Religion became moral cover for economic power. In parts of the Islamic world, slavery was also embedded into law. Religious rulings permitted enslavement of war captives. The system was regulated, but not abolished. Manumission was praised. Ownership was still allowed. Faith set boundaries, but it did not dismantle the institution for centuries. Yes, in some African societies, slavery existed before European arrival, but it's often tied to war captives or debt bondage. Spiritual beliefs sometimes reinforce social hierarchy. Captives could be absorbed into households, but they were still unfree. No major civilization was untouched by the system of slavery. Millions of enslaved Africans in the Americas were forced into Christianity. They were told obedience on earth would be rewarded in heaven. The same religion that promised spiritual equality was used to demand earthly submission. And then, the ground shifted. Christian abolitionists began declaring slavery a sin. Quakers denounced it publicly. Black pastors preached Moses instead of obedience. In Muslim societies, reformers began arguing that justice and human dignity demanded abolition. The same texts, completely different conclusions. So here's the uncomfortable question. Did religion cause slavery? No. But did powerful institutions use religion to protect wealth and control? Yes. Over and over again. Sacred words became political tools. The scriptures didn't change. The power structures did. Religion didn't invent slavery, but for centuries it gave slavery moral armor.